Dear listeners, we are honored to have with us in our studio Mr. Abu Metha, advisor to the Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland and Chairman of IDAN. Sir, welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sir, you have been actively representing our beautiful state in various capacities, even in the international circuit. And recently, your visits were to France and Kyrgyzstan. But first, let's talk about Kyrgyzstan. What was the purpose of that visit and the key highlights of your trips to Kyrgyzstan?
First of all, thank you very much, Naro, for having me in this program. Thank you, All India Radio. It's my first time in the studio, so I'm pretty excited and a little bit nervous too. So I was invited to Kyrgyzstan by the president of the World Belt Wrestling Federation, the Kyrgyzstan Wrestling Federation, and also the Asian Belt Wrestling Federation. There was an international Grand Prix event that was happening there. So I was invited by the president, who is also a member of parliament and who is also the chairman of the Constitutional Committee of Kyrgyzstan's parliament. So it was an honor to represent the state, also the country, to go and interact with them, to attend the Grand Prix, and to have discussions on various issues related to belt wrestling. In the process of my visit, one of the main agendas that was on my mind and which I took forward with the mandate and support of our government and our Chief Minister was that how do we promote Nagaland, how do we promote India, and how do we promote Naga wrestling? So that was one of the main agendas. And also you will be aware that Nagaland Chief Minister Nipyu Rio had announced that Nagaland will be hosting the Asian Belt Wrestling Championships in Kohima. So I went there to have preparatory meetings, to get technical specifications, guidance, and also to get the support of the World Belt Wrestling Federation. So those were the main agendas, and we went into in-depth discussions, and then now the preparations for that championships will begin.
Okay, so where are Naga wrestlers invited for that event?
In fact, not Naga wrestlers, but the Indian team was one of the participating countries in the Grand Prix that was held in Kyrgyzstan, and 6 wrestlers from Nagaland represented India at that championship. And all of you are aware, we were so happy and so excited when one of our own wrestlers, Mr. Kawakre from Mezoma village, he got bronze medal in one of the events. It was a landmark, it was a milestone, a great achievement not only for the state but also for the country. As I said earlier, the agenda and the motive was to promote the Naga style of wrestling. And I'm very happy to let you know and let your viewers and the people of Nagaland know that in the Asian Belt Wrestling Championships, the Naga style of wrestling will be a separate event. Okay. And we'll be having countries, international participants, different countries from Asia and hopefully from Europe also, participate in the Naga style of wrestling here in Nagaland. So the road towards internationalizing Naga wrestling, the road towards internationalizing one of our special and unique aspects of our culture, that is the Naga style of wrestling, we are on that road, and I'm hopeful that not only now but in times to come, the Naga style of wrestling will become an international sport where it is participated not just by wrestlers from Nagaland but from people from other parts of the country and from across international borders.
Now that our government has paved the way for Naga wrestling to be in the international circuit, now you have also mentioned that Nagaland is in a preparatory stage to hold the games in the next phase. So how is Nagaland prepared, the preparedness of our state to hold that event?
We are expecting at least 20 countries to come and participate. We will get countries from different parts of Asia. And as I said, we will also be having participants from Europe. Ahead of the championships in later part of the year, we will have a delegation from World Wrestling, Belt Wrestling Federation, Asian Federation, and the National Federation pay a visit to inspect some of the sites, some of the venues, the hotels, the accommodation facilities, and the game plan that we are laying out. A visit will take place a few weeks from now, and then we will go ahead with the preparations. But I think we are well prepared. Naga style wrestling is very popular. You've seen for yourself how thousands and thousands of people get packed in an arena to watch the game. It is a sport that is connected to our culture. It is a sport that is deep rooted in the grassroots level. And the real stakeholders of wrestling in Nagaland are not the wrestlers, the federation, the association, the government, But the real stakeholders are the people in the grassroots, the rural people, the people who follow the sport from the KEL to the state level to the national level. So I think this is a fantastic opportunity, and I must congratulate the state government led by the Chief Minister for taking this step, which I think is going to benefit Nagaland greatly in the years to come. It's going to popularize Naga culture, Naga style of wrestling, push Naga soft power, push brand Nagaland to the international community.
So, in a lighter vein, Naga wrestling. How about portraying in the World Wrestling Mania in that forum? Is it possible? Any possibility?
World Wrestling Mania or World Wrestling Federation is very different. That's in my book entertainment. This is a proper sport, and belt wrestling, the Indian Federation and Asian Federation are making all-out efforts to promote the sport to become a full-fledged Olympic sport, to become a Commonwealth sport, an Asian Games sport. You will recollect that during the last Northeast Olympic Games that we hosted in Dimapur, we got a written message from the Prime Minister of India. And Prime Minister Modi ji congratulated the organizing committee and congratulated Chief Minister and welcomed the organizing committee's decision to include belt wrestling in the championship. Because he said that we must promote our indigenous sports, our local sports. So we are also getting support from the Government of India, from the Prime Minister himself. And the aim is to reach this sport to the Olympic level. And the best part of it is that our Naga wrestlers are good at it. We're winning medals at the international level. Okay. So I think it's a fantastic and exciting adventure and journey that lies ahead.
Now that Naga wrestling is popularized to the world, what about the infrastructure here in Nagaland? Do we have academies to promote or to train the wrestlers, or any such a sort of to train the wrestlers in any academy or institution as such?
Yeah, we do have. There's still a lot to be done, but I'm happy to let you know that we have Khelo India Sports Academy at Kohima at the Indira Gandhi Stadium, where one of the feature disciplines is wrestling. We also have Khelo India centers in Pek. We have a new infrastructure that is soon going to be inaugurated at Dimapur, which will become a full-fledged wrestling academy. Okay. We are also taking steps to bring coaches from outside and train our wrestlers here in our academies. That has already taken place. This time in Kyrgyzstan, our wrestlers got state-of-the-art coaching from an international coach in Kyrgyzstan for a few days before the competition. So yes, we have a few academies that are running, which are engaging coaches and former wrestlers. There's still a lot to be done, but I think we're on the right roadmap. And there's a two-way approach that we're doing. One is developing young wrestlers at a grassroots level from a young age. 2, we're giving exposure to national, international events. And 3, we're getting national level and international level coaches for high performance training for our athletes.
Sir, with all that you have shared with us, we hope that Naga wrestling becomes to Nagaland what sumo is to Japan.
Why not? Definitely. Sumo to Japan, Taekwondo to South Korea. All these were local indigenous sports. So why can't Naga style of wrestling also become that someday? And when we have this championship, we're not only going to have wrestling events, but we are going to celebrate the Naga way of life. We will highlight our culture, our song, our dance, how Nagas lived, and we will let the world know good things about Nagaland. So it's just not about wrestling, but it's going to be a wholesome Nagaland experience.
The gamut, the entire package of Nagaland.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about your visit to France. The purpose of that visit was to release a film. So what was it all about?
Actually, the story goes back 5 years ago. We had the renowned Oscar winner, Golden Globe winner, and Academy Award winner, A.R. Rahman, music producer, visit Nagaland during the Hornbill Festival. He was overwhelmed by our hospitality, the Naga way of life, and he was inspired by the scenery, the music, the musicians. He had interactions with the music community, met youngsters, listened to some of our performances, and he came up with the idea that why don't we come up with a documentary production? And we jumped to the idea because who gets the opportunity to make a production with an Oscar winner, with a Golden Globe winner? It's a brand that's priceless. And so we were very grateful to him when we came up with the idea. Over and above that, he is mentoring young students and young children in Kohima Orphanage. He's adopted that orphanage, teaching them music. You'll be aware that sometime back, children from the orphanage who are learning violin, they were taken to an international concert in Chennai, where they performed with the International Sunshine Orchestra, not only from India, but from the United Kingdom. They got an international platform. But I was even more excited because, when they were traveling to Chennai, They performed in an indigo flight at 30,000 feet, a violin concert. So it was not only inspirational, but it was very emotional, and it was fantastic to see our children do that. Coming to the film, so we came up with this film which took 5 years to make. It's a documentary film produced by A.R. Rahman. It highlights some of our musicians. It tells stories. The name of the film is Headhunting to Beatboxing. So it tells a story. It also highlights Naga culture. It speaks about our history and how music has played a front and center role in the new ambition and courage and motivation of youngsters. This film, I think, will internationalize Naga music. It will take our musicians to a global platform. It exemplifies, the ambition of young Naga generations today, and it will motivate them to achieve greater things. Most importantly, it will tell new, good, fresh, wonderful stories of Naga people and Naga youth to the international community. So yes, we went to Cannes. We released the teaser and the poster. The film is still in post-production, and we are looking at, various film festivals to promote this.
The Cannes Film Festival was introducing the documentary, the feature about the beatboxing, from headhunting to beatboxing to the film world.
Right.
So, post-production, how long do you think it will take?
It will still take some time because I'm told that the sound, the audios, the coloring is being done in very well-renowned studios within the country and outside the country. At the same time, the promotions will continue. Our aim is to create huge buzz around it so that by the time we are ready to release it, it generates a lot of attention and viewership. We are grateful that we could make it to Cannes. It's the world's highest level of film industry, and the Indian film industry is viewed with a lot of respect and anticipation because Bollywood is the largest film industry in the world, and this time a big name like A.R. Rahman reaching Cannes with this production generated a lot of interest. But the interest was even more exciting for the audiences there and the people who came and interacted with us was that it was about Nagaland.
How was the response?
The response was fantastic. I mean, I'm still unable to keep up with the news coverage that is still coming in. We had global media houses cover it, the French newspapers and magazines covering. Indian media, we were all over the space. And the fact that A.R. Rahman is making a film documentary production about tribal people from Nagaland, about Naga music, that generated a lot of buzz. And obviously, automatically, the questions about Nagaland arises. Yes. So I had interactive sessions and talk events, interviews done with media and with audiences. So it gave me an opportunity to also speak about Nagaland culture, Nagaland as a destination, our land of festivals, Hornbill Festival. So it gave me a opportunity to speak about Nagaland and tell good stories about Nagaland to the world.
Now, of course, we understand that you will not be able to reveal much about the film because it is only in the production stage. But how about a small giveaway, like the music or the people? Are you allowed to share?
Yeah, obviously. We released the teaser, and the teaser was also a view only. Okay. It's not available digitally on any platform as yet. That's the way they run the film industry, I guess. So it's about going back to the time of our forefathers.
So it's in a story mode.
There's no narration. There's a little reveal here again. But the visuals, the sounds will tell its own story. Okay. But it features all Naga musicians. Okay. All the music is original to them. And we are also hoping that we have a soundtrack done of this film. That was one of the questions a lot of people asked, whether you're going to have a soundtrack of this film. We're working towards that. So the visuals, the music, the sounds that the film and the visuals give, it will tell its own story.
It's wonderful to know that only original songs will be in that documentary.
Combination of folk, modern, pop, country, original music of Naga musicians.
Let's take a step backward and focus only on the musicians of Nagaland. Now that we have been given the platform, you in a position to give a platform to our performers, to our artists, what would be a few things that you would like to tell them? How to stand up for yourself as a musician, as an artist? What is the one thing that they have?
Well, first of all, I'm not a musician. So it would be unfair to give music advice to musicians because they're better than me, they're more experts. But generally, to succeed in this world, to succeed in anything, be it in academics, be it in sport, be it in music, any field, the bottom line is hard work, commitment, dedication. There are no compromises there. You just have to run that extra mile, sweat that extra bucket, and the success and the recognition will follow. There's no compromise on that. But I want to tell youngsters of Nagaland that we are now a different generation. You must have the courage. You must be brave to take on the world. We're capable of getting there, and I'm sure our youngsters, the talents of Nagaland are as good as anybody, if not better. You should have the courage, the motivation, and you should be brave enough to take on the world. And I think Naga youth are doing fantastic. When you talk about Naga youth, I'm so very proud of our musicians because they have become some of the best ambassadors of the Naga people. We have musicians performing at some of the biggest shows in India. They're performing at international venues, and Nagaland is getting known for its musicians. Even in this film, we're talking a lot about it, but let me tell you, the real heroes and the real winners of this film are the musicians of Nagaland. And I hope it propels them and motivates them to be more brave, be more courageous, and just achieve success at the highest levels.
And listeners, on that note, we will wind up our talk here with Mr. Abu Metha. Thank you, sir, for coming to our studios and giving us such wonderful insights and about the wonderful things that we can expect.
Thank you very much, Naro. It was a real joy talking to you. Thank you very much.